this fight. So who would win this fight? I'm gonna go with Usman in this one. I think Usman is gonna get him on the ground, and he's just gonna, just hold him against the fence a lot of the time, hold him on the ground. He's not gonna get far. I don't think he's gonna submit Masvidal. Masvidal is extremely hard to finish. He hasn't been finished at all in the UFC. He got finished before the UFC, but he hasn't been finished in the UFC. I think Usman's gonna win a 5-round decision. Masvidal might steal 1 or 2 rounds, but it's going to be all Usman mainly. If Usman stands on the feet and tries standing with Masvidal, the way he stood with Kobe, he's going to get outstruck. He's probably going to get dropped. He's probably going to get finished. Not finished, but or maybe finished, but he's going to get outstruck definitely, and he's going to lose. But I don't think Usman's going to do that. I think Usman knows that, Masvidal's striking is not Kobe's. He might get cocky. He might want to stand a bit, but after the first round, he might learn his lesson and just be like, no, back to the game plan. Because Masvidal is not Kobe Covington. Kobe Covington was throwing at 40%, 50%, and he's not a striker. Masvidal has been dropping guys since he was like 19 years old, I think that with the fans, Usman dominated Woodley. Boring, fence control, 5 rounds, and that was with fans. This is without fans, Abu Dhabi, and or without fans in the arena, So I think Usman just will not care. He'll hold him against the fence, ignore there's not going to be boos from the fans because there's no fans, but he's just going to ignore the fact that he's making it boring. He's going to do his thing, get his second title defense. That's what I think. Now, in terms of matchups and why I think that Usman wins, if we look at Masvidal's, his last few opponents. So Masvidal, he's come off a win against Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is not the best fighter, He's got double-digit losses like Masvidal. He's coming off a win against Anthony Pettis before that, but he lost. He lost a few. He lost against Conor. He had a war against Conor. He's lost against literally half the division in welterweight and lightweight. He's lost against, and he's won against the other half. But he hasn't really beat any top contenders. So the Nate Diaz one's like, it's not really the biggest win. Hype, but it wasn't a big win. The one before that, Masvidal fought Till. That was a really good win. Now maybe you could say Till was, was cutting too much weight. Till's at middleweight now, but I think that was a really solid win. Till dropped him and he came back strong and he knocked him out. That was a really good win. Before that, he's lost to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's lost to Damian Maia. At the times when they were ranked, and they were, they still are ranked, but at the time they were, they were winning a bit more, those opponents. So those ranked opponents he lost to, and then obviously he hasn't fought Kobe Covington. That would be an exciting matchup. He hasn't fought Woodley. He hasn't fought Edwards. He hasn't fought obviously Usman. So he fought Ben Askren. Sorry, I forgot about that. The Ben Askren win. Of course, I had Ben Askren winning by wrestling. I thought Ben Askren was going to submit him in the second or third round because of the wrestling. But obviously Usman got that knee in, and it was a beautiful finish. And none of us expected that happened. So that was a good win. But that didn't really showcase his wrestling skills, So in his last few fights, we haven't really seen his wrestling, but we know though from YouTube videos, from stories, that Kobe Covington, when they used to train together, used to just demolish him in wrestling. But then that could work both ways, he could be, because Kobe is a D1 wrestler, Usman is a D2. I know, Usman's got the size, so that might help him, might have helped counterbalance his wrestling against Usman's, and that's why, Kobe didn't shoot on him when they fought together in UFC 245. But Masvidal might have, the experience with Kobe, and Masvidal is bringing in high-level wrestlers for this camp. He's bringing in high-level wrestlers to train for Usman. And although Masvidal is jumping in on short notice for Gilbert Burns, you have to remember that Masvidal was the original opponent for Usman. They all both had a training camp for each other. And then obviously negotiations fell out, so Gilbert Burns jumped in on short notice. But the camp was originally for Masvidal and for Usman on either way. So even though it's short notice like that, it's not really short notice because they are training for each other. The only short notice part would be the weight cut, maybe the last couple of weeks. But weight cut shouldn't be a problem. Masvidal's not. He's a decent sized welterweight, but he's not a big welterweight. Like Usman, he doesn't have to cut too much. But yeah, the Kobe Covington, those years of practice with Kobe Covington and these high-level wrestlers he's bringing in, that could help Masvidal. And his jiu-jitsu is good. I don't think Masvidal gets finished by Usman. I think Usman wins on decision on the ground, and I think it's a slow one. I think it's a boring one. I do hope Masvidal beats Usman for the future of the division. If Masvidal beats Usman, we get Kobe Covington versus Masvidal for the belt. 2 former teammates. That would be amazing. And then hopefully, I think of that one, Kobe will beat Masvidal, and then we get the Kobe versus Usman rematch, and then we'll see how that goes.